Hey guys, today we are doing a review of the new Alphalux collection that is launching on September 25th. It doesn't say on their Instagram when it's launching, but I want to say 10 AM CST is usually the time. So this is already their second Alphalux collection of the year, but they updated the Alphalux and this is all like new leggings. So I figured it was still worth a review. I only got one pair of leggings and one pair of shorts, and then two bras. So really, there's not that much to review, so I just kind of wanted to go over the big changes and everything. I'll also be comparing the new leggings to the old Alphalux as well as the Buff Bunny Legacy leggings. If you find these videos helpful, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and if you are shopping the launch and I helped you out, you can feel free to use code Kathryn at checkout. It's just a support code, not a discount code. Also, this review isn't sponsored. I just have a code with them. They send me stuff. I like to review it for you guys because it almost feels wrong for me not to review something before a launch if I have the opportunity to, because you know, I always like to help you guys. I'm here to help, but my reviews are always 100% honest. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Alphalete has a couple main fabrics. Everything today will be in the Alphalux fabric, but slightly modified. So it is still a 75% nylon, 25% spandex that it was before, but it's a lot less brushed. And I said recently, I think it was in like a love it or leave it. Those are kind of like my monthly activewear update videos. I said recently that the Alphalux was kind of becoming my least favorite because of the pilling issue. Because even when you first got a pair of Alphalete leggings in the Alphalux fabric, you could already kind of see the start of pilling. It's definitely improved on these new ones. So I love that they made that update because I think it makes them still soft and brushed, but a little more durable. And it's also pretty close to their surface material. So let's do a little comparison of the fabrics. So this is the new Alphalux, the updated material. This is the old Alphalux. They're technically the same fabric composition, but the new one is less brushed. And I think you can really see that side by side. Like you just have a very little amount of brushed on the new ones. In the old ones, like I literally washed these one time and they just get right on the brink of pilling just too soon. Like this is one wash. So I really like the new update. And then in comparison to the surface leggings have a pretty different fabric composition, and the surface are definitely the least brush, a little more compressive. But I would say that the new Alphalux is a little closer to the surface now. And this is the inside of the new Alphalux leggings, and it looks like they're brushed inside and out, which helps with them sliding down. So I do like when they're double brushed. Peach is here as a reminder that these do still collect pet fur. So thanks for that, Peach. You always are a little pet fur tester. Here's a tag for you. You guys also love to ask, how do these compare to the Amplify leggings? And I just can't compare these to the Amplify leggings because they're nothing like them. The Amplify leggings are like a knit seamless material with a scrunch. They're really nothing like these. So if you prefer like maximum booty scale, super stretchy scrunch leggings that might be a little sheer in lighter colors, then the Amplifies are for you. But if you like kind of a brushed, more opaque legging, then maybe the Alphalux. I also wanted to go over some colors and color comparisons. So first and foremost, we have these new stained prints. So they have like these little like patches of kind of darker coloring in the same color family, so like a darker blue on top of this blue. This is the stained cyclone blue, and it is like a true dye print, so it is also like the print on the inside as well. It's not like a fake print just printed onto the leggings, which I tend to not really be a fan of. So this is the print kind of up close. It is like a true dye, and I feel like it looks pretty good. It is kind of like tie-dye, so every print is going to be a little bit different. So it's possible you end up with a splotch in an awkward spot. You know, I'm just gonna say it. That always is a risk with tie-dye, but some of my pieces definitely have more of the dark dye than others. The other color I have in the print is stained drought brown, and you guys know I've been obsessed with brown activewear lately, so loving this. There's also Jupiter green, this nice deep green color, and Martian red, which is a pretty deep kind of like orangey red. So I'll be posting color comparisons on the screen here with any colors that I have. Now that that's out of the way, let's start out with the Force leggings. So I got the 27-inch inseam version, but they are coming in two different lengths. So I don't really know what the other length is. Okay, so I thought I didn't have the PDF of the information for this launch. Turns out I had it all along. Lost in my email. So the two lengths for the leggings are actually 27-inch, which is the one I got, and they have 30-inch inseam. So listen up, tall ladies, this is the first time I've seen like a brand like this have a 30-inch inseam, So some options for my shorter and tall ladies. Love that they have that, but I think this is the only legging launching. So these are a 9-inch rise, about the same as the Harmony leggings. I knew you guys would ask me if these compared to the Harmony leggings. So I do have a side-by-side here of these versus the Harmony leggings. Basically, these don't have that little ribbed panel insert. They have a lot more seam detailing down the leg, and I just felt like with this new material, they were a little more hugging on the body, so I do prefer these to the Harmony leggings. I have the Harmony leggings. I wore them like a couple times. I just didn't really find myself reaching for them all that much. I do think these are better. So these have a seamless waistband, no band at the top. They do have a little panel detailing in the front. No front seam on any of these, little crotch gusset, and there is a good amount of seam detailing that we'll talk about later. Just one little Alphalete logo, not the extra Alphalux. You got the little kind of butterfly seam detailing. In another comparison between these and the Harmony leggings, here are the Harmony ones. They had like this little scooped detailing around the ankle that it just really didn't do it for me. I feel like it kind of made it a little bit baggy and stuff. They actually changed the way they did their like bottom seams for these. It's actually kind of like a raw cut bonded hem instead of an actual stitching. So here's a comparison. These are the old Harmony leggings and these are the new ones. So they actually kind of look seamless, but once you like stretch them, you can kind of see there is a bonded edge. And here's the inside of the bonded edge. So it was just kind of raw cut and I guess like kind of glued down, which I guess like gives it a little more of a seamless appearance, but it is pretty tight, especially we'll see that on the shorts. Okay, a little back seam comparison between the new Alphalux Force leggings, the old Alphalux Harmony leggings, and the Buff Bunny Legacy leggings. These are technically the shorts, but got the same idea. So compared to the Buff Bunny ones, the Buff Bunny ones actually have 3 seams kind of creating the little detail up here, and the Alphalete ones only have the 2 seams. So same with the Alphalux Harmony ones, those also only had 2 seams. And I feel like maybe Buff Bunnies have slightly more prominent glute seams, but they're both kind of in like a V shape. The old Harmony ones also had that little ribbed insert, just really didn't do it for me. So I'm glad that they now no longer have that. The Harmonies didn't have any side pockets or detailing, and the new ones definitely have more seam detailing down the leg. One other detail is all of the logos in this collection is kind of like a shiny silicone that matches the color of the leggings. But with the old Harmony ones, you had a white Alphalete in the same little silicone material, but then Alphalux below. We no longer have the little Alphalux. And I know a lot of people used to size down in the old Alphalux, so the waistband measurements are actually still the same in a size small, but I just felt like these new ones didn't run as big. Like I really didn't have any extra fabric anywhere. And same with the Alphalux Essential leggings. They are also the same waistband size in a size small to the new Force leggings. So I guess if you really felt like you could size down last time, you could again. I just really don't feel like these new ones run big. All right, so here are the leggings in the solid Martian red. I'll try them on in the print as well. So yeah, another fairly high rise above the belly button. And then you actually have a pretty good amount of waistband space here because you have like the top waistband and you're getting a little more compression in this little panel region as well. So I'd say it's pretty solid waistband space. No front seam, and I'm really not getting any problems. Very slightly extended crotch gusset, pretty small. And then there's quite a bit of seam detailing. On the left side here, we have a pocket that kind of goes down the side, and then you have a little more detailing down the back of the leg. But I'd say all of the detailing is really not cutting in anywhere. So the seams are pretty stretchy and are not gonna like, you know, give you sausage legs or anything. The pocket is also kind of ended with that kind of bonded edge seam. And there's also one of the bonded edges at the bottom of the legging. And I will say it felt a little small, like my little ankle kind of struggled to get through this a little bit just because the bonded edge is pretty stiff. So it doesn't really create a problem once it's on. And since these are a 27-inch inseam, they're like almost a full length on me. So, and the right side has kind of the same like general shape as the left, except there is no pocket on the right side. So only one side of the pocket, more seam detailing down here. And then I'd say it's pretty flattering on the glutes at the back. You have the little seam detail, kind of like Buff Bunny Legacy a little bit. And the new Alphalux material is definitely thinner than before and it's less brushed. So while it still collects some pet hair, it's not as much, but you also will get a little less cellulite coverage because it is a little bit thinner. So slightly more thinner, almost more summery material, which personally I'm here for. I don't love my leggings to be too warm. And yeah, I think the seam detailing on the back is very flattering. I'm gonna give them, you know, medium to high on the booty scale. Overall compression on these, I'd say a solid medium, and I definitely think that these are much more true to size than the past Alphalux. Like the old Alphalux Essential leggings, I could have absolutely done an extra small in. These, I don't think I could wear an extra small. It's already pretty snug. I don't have any extra fabric or anything, so wanted to show the detailing on the printed ones, and I got a request to see if a phone would fit. Phones fit very well in these pockets all the way down, so that's good. I almost feel like the printed ones in general are just a little bit stretchier than the solids. So personally, I kind of like the prints because I think they're fun. And I know there've been a lot of comparisons to this print kind of looking like sweat marks, but I think there's enough of the dark spots to be obvious that it is actually a print and not just sweat marks. But even still, like the fact that it kind of looks like sweat marks means if you're a sweaty person, these would hide your sweat very well because it would just look like the rest of the print. So I kind of think that's fun. And the printed ones are also going to be a little more cellulite coverage just because the kind of irregularity of the print definitely helps with that. The only other pair of bottoms, the Force shorts, so very similar in the waistband and everything. And on the side of this one, there's a little less seam detailing. You just have like one straight up and down seam on the right side. Then you have like a pretty square pocket on the left side. So just one side for the pocket, which is great for my people who love pockets. Personally, I could do without pockets, but I don't necessarily mind if they're there as long as they're not too thick. Full extended crotch gusset on the bottom, and then you just have the little back seams here. And I'll do a little side-by-side comparison of the Alphalux Force shorts with the Buff Bunny Legacy shorts. So they're both a 4-inch inseam, but the Buff Bunny ones do have one extra layer of the little butterfly detailing. They're both a 9-inch rise, and the Buff Bunny ones actually have like a true seam at the bottom of the hem, which I actually felt like cut into me less than the Alphalux ones, which the shorts again do have that like bonded edge seam at the bottom, which I felt like kind of added to it, cutting into me a little bit. All right, here are the shorts. These are a solid 4-inch inseam, and I actually will say I wore the black ones on a walk yesterday, and they actually didn't roll at all. But I think the reason they didn't roll is because they're pretty tight on my legs. Like I would definitely consider this cutting into my thighs. So personally, I feel like I could probably do a medium with these. These ones are okay pretty much everywhere except for the bottom of here. Their new little folded over detail here, while it's not a stitch that's cutting in, it actually is pretty stiff, so it still cuts in a good amount. They have a full extended gusset in the inside here. Generally, I find that Alphalete gussets are not like the most visible from the front. This one I feel like maybe like a little bit, but pocket only on the left side, and it goes all the way down, so plenty of room for a phone. No pocket on the right, and you have the double band detailing. Pretty high rise on this one. It goes above my belly button, and then almost that like Buff Bunny Legacy detailing on the back. Overall compression is probably just about a medium. It feels maybe a little more compressive because of this little thigh seam, and I think I could size up in these, definitely size up if in between, but if you're worried about thigh squishing, like I definitely have some here, I would definitely size up. You might get a little less compression overall, but generally I feel like Alphalete waistbands are pretty snug, so it shouldn't gape at the waist. In a medium, like I wouldn't expect it to do that. Booty scale, I'm going with medium to high. I feel like this sits pretty high above the glutes without me having to pull it up too much. All right, here are the shorts in black. I just wanted to show real quick just that I feel like I'm getting a little more compression and even a little more cutting in the thighs in the black. So the shorts, personally, I would size up if you are concerned about the thigh region. So the Alphalux asymmetrical bra, it's a one shoulder bra, it's almost more of a crop top if you ask me. It's not the most bra-like in the world. It's kind of like a bandeau that they like kind of sewed on this extra strap. At least it's sewn on in the front, but the back is seamless, so it just comes up like that. It does have the Alphalux silicone logo in the back that matches the color of the fabric, so it's not super obvious. And the bra does have removable cups. So here's what it looks like on the inside. It does have little like sewn segments for the removable cup pads with a little stitching in between so they don't move around too much. But there's no actual like true elastic on this bra, like really provide that like security, that lifting. So their cup pads also always match the color of their bras, which I love that they do that. Buff Bunny does that too. All right, so here's the asymmetrical bra, and I really wanted to love this one because I think just by looks, it's like super cute, and I love little asymmetrical detailing. I always love if a brand can do a one shoulder sports bra right. And while I feel like they did the coverage right, like I do feel like this little bandeau bottom part has a good amount of space for the girls. I really don't feel like I'm falling out. Like sometimes, you know, the girl that doesn't have the straps over here kind of is forgotten and spills out too much. I feel like I'm still okay. Like obviously there's a little bit coming out the top. I like this little like detailing here because you get like a little peep of cleavage, but I wore it to the gym and I didn't feel like I was falling out of it. So while I felt like it was good that I wasn't falling out, I really don't feel like super lifted in this one. Like I just feel like there's too much moving up and down with this. Like for me, this strap needed to be like tighter and just a little more supportive. And there's no elastic in this bra. It's almost just like a piece of fabric, you know? I felt like I needed like an inner elastic, kind of like the crop tank has, or just some way to offer a little more support because the cup pads alone just weren't doing it for me. And for me, when I don't feel like fully lifted with the girls, I feel a little bit uncomfortable. So in terms of coverage, I feel like we have good coverage on this side. You do have the cutout and then potentially a little bit of side boob over here. So I'm gonna actually say a medium coverage because it's pretty good. And it's definitely pretty long line. Like I was wearing this top and the leggings in the blue print today, and I feel like I barely had any skin showing, and that's me with a long torso. And then the back is just kind of one shoulder over here. So could I get through a whole workout in this without feeling like I was gonna lose this girl over here? Absolutely. But I just wanted a little more lift, if that makes sense. Also, since I was like opening all of the bras, I feel like I had a little slight difference in the stitching here. They all end in this little like vertical stitch going on right there, but I felt like on this red one, my stitching was like a little bit longer. We're really just getting into the details here. I honestly am not even sure how I noticed that, but I thought I would mention it. I don't know. I did definitely get some under boob sweat here, but in the print, it wasn't very noticeable. Okay, I just wanted to say, as I was leaning over, I feel like it's a lot in this little cutout when you lean over in the bra. I don't know. And here is the printed top, and maybe it's because I already wore this one today and maybe like kind of loosened up a little bit like sometimes fabrics do. I feel like when I lean over, I get a little bit of gaping right here. So if you're in between sizes on this top, I'd for sure size down because there's no elastics to cut into you, and you'll just get like a little extra compression and a little more support. And lastly, the Alphalux Force Crop. So this one is kind of like your regular kind of spaghetti strap tank shape, a little scooped in the back, logo in the back as well. And this one, as opposed to the asymmetrical bra, actually does have like a full inner bra lining that's like separate from the outer lining of the shirt. So you do have an elastic in here, you do have removable cut pads, so you just get a little more support, a little more coverage than the last one. And you do have adjustable straps. They're basically kind of like bra straps. Potentially could cut into you, but I felt like they were okay. They have like the fuzzy lining on the inside, a little more shiny on the outside. And to me, the Force Crop kind of reminded me of the Surface Elevation bra, but they're definitely different. So I'll do a little side by side here. The Elevation bra doesn't have any sort of elastic on the inside. It's a little kind of more like the asymmetrical bra where there's no elastic and it's kind of long line, but this one also has crisscross straps in the back and that little like open cutout detailing. And I definitely had a little more like spillage out the top of the Elevation bra, and I had better coverage in the Force Crop. All right, so here's the crop, and it is like a built-in bra crop, like has like a little bit of elastic at the bottom. It's a pretty thin elastic, but it provides some support, a little mesh on the outside here, some cut pads, and then the actual crop goes down pretty far. So it's almost kind of like in between a long line sports bra and one of like those little classic tanks you get on Amazon that I have like a million of. This is what I'm talking about if you aren't aware. But yeah, I feel like I definitely have a good amount of coverage in this one. It's not gonna be like the most supportive, but I actually do feel decently lifted just because you do have these straps and they are adjustable. The lighting is going like behind the clouds and in front of the clouds. Sorry for any lighting changes. The straps are like one of those like kind of shinier bra straps, which I have mixed feelings about, but I feel like you can't notice too much, at least in like the darker colors here. So no side boob. I'd say overall full coverage and support is gonna be light to medium for this one. Logo in the back, pretty subtle. I think this would have to be my choice if you are a larger cup size looking for just like a little more support. Obviously it's not going to be high impact, but I did feel a little more lifted in this one than the one strap. Yeah, that's kind of it for the clothes. They did also send me some dad hats, which I don't really understand why everyone's calling these dad hats. They're just baseball caps. This one's kind of like a washed black one. Oh, I literally wore this out yesterday and did not take the little sticky protector that was protecting the metal on the back, so that's great. I don't really want to fully try this on because I have makeup and everything, but it's like a little splotchy gray one, almost camo. And they have one of those little adjustable metal guys on the back with a little hole for your ponytail. I know it's actually not what it's for, but it works as one. Okay guys, that's it for the review. Make sure to leave in the comments down below if you have any questions. You can also feel free to message me on Instagram. Sometimes my DMs though, literally I went 3 entire days without being able to read any DMs on my Instagram this week just because I updated my Instagram app and they decided to make it worse. I will make sure to get back to all of the comment questions though. Again, if this review was helpful, feel free to use code Kathryn if you're shopping the launch. But again, here's your reminder that you don't need to shop from every launch. I certainly don't shop from every launch, and you forget about the FOMO like 2 days later, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're interested in more activewear reviews because I just bought so much stuff from like so many different activewear brands, so we have a lot coming. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!